Hello everyone, it's Joe here from Draft FPL and welcome to a weekly series helping you find some good value free agents and waiver pickups in Draft FPL. I thought I had another day to do this video, but I realised quite late last night that the next waiver deadline is actually on the 1st of January at 4 PM UK time. So just a few hours after this video goes out, but there's no rest for the wicked, so let's get stuck straight into my favourite waiver picks of GW19. Just a quick aside as we get started, as you'll see, there's no availability percentages this week. That is mainly due to the fact that the Draft FC global dashboard has not yet updated. So no available percentages, but I think you'll see from the picks I've gone for, they're all pretty low ownership anyway, so it shouldn't make too much difference. First up is Azpilicueta of Chelsea. And as you can see from his game week 19 fixture, it is of course double game week season. So Chelsea and Fulham both have a double this week. City at home, Fulham away for Chelsea. And I love the doubles. Anytime you can get in any players you think they're going to play twice, it is an absolute bonus. So Azpilicueta is the one I've gone for. From the Chelsea defence, I think with the Reece James injury and not much cover, Loftus-Cheek's injured as well, I don't think there's many other options at right back than Azpilicueta, and they've done pretty well in this kind of new 4-3-3 they've been playing, so I suspect, I am recording this before the Chelsea game in game week 18, so we may get a bit more information there, but I think Azpilicueta is a decent shout to play both. And following that, they do actually have okay fixtures as well. Palace in 20 is good, Liverpool away in 21 is pretty tough, and then Fulham at home in game week 22 is pretty good. I've actually been quite impressed with Chelsea just the first game back so far. This may be famous last words, we'll see how they get on today. But I do think Chelsea may be one of the teams that really do benefit from this break. And, Potter's had just that little bit more time to settle in. And I do think if you can get on board with the right Chelsea assets, this might be quite a fruitful period. Next up then is probably the outstanding fixture of the week, and that is United at home to Bournemouth. Definitely from the single game weeks, it's the easiest fixture. I've gone for Aaron Wan-Bissaka mainly because it looks like Diogo Dalot is still going to be injured. Wan-Bissaka's done okay the last couple of games as well, so I would be very surprised if he doesn't keep his place at right back for the time being. And you only really need him for 1 week because you don't really want a United defender for game week 20, game week 21, City at home, Arsenal away. You can swerve those two, and then I think Dalot may well be back by the time they play Palace in game week 22. So it really is just a 1 week punt on Wan-Bissaka. Not too much attacking potential, but it is easily the best clean sheet fixture from the single game weeks this week. Next up, I've gone for a Saints defender, which I wouldn't really recommend, to be honest, normally. But it is quite tough to find clean sheets this week, I think. There's quite a few tricky matchups, which does lend itself to sort of a bit more of a punty option. And I do think Saints have been pretty bad, but they played okay against Fulham. They just didn't take their chances and they got caught out with a couple of goals. But I do think there was a little bit of a sign there that they have potential to at least trouble teams. And I think Forest at home is absolutely must win. If Saints don't win this, they'll be rock bottom, there'll be a drift at the bottom, and they'll be going down. And I do think this game is so important that I think actually it might be worth picking up one or two of their boys for this week, because like I said, they absolutely must win this game, and I think they're going to try and keep it tight and just try and nick a goal or two against Forest. So I think a defender isn't the worst play. Bella Kotchap's my favourite, mainly because he's very good on bonus. He's pretty good in terms of aerial threat. I'm not too keen on the fullbacks because they don't push too high up anyway. Bella Kotchap's also pretty good on bonus as well. So he is my favourite Saints defender. And if they can get a little run together, look at these fixtures. Forest at home, Everton away, Villa at home, Brentford away is a great 4 fixtures. And they keep going beyond that as well. They are really, really good fixtures. So, as I said, it's must win. and I think there's a decent chance if any game they're going to pick up a win, Forest at home is absolutely the best bet. So I think a defender isn't a terrible play this week. On to midfielders then, and I think this is the last week in quite some time I'll be plumping for a Fulham mid. I've tipped basically all of them over the last 4 or 5 weeks. The fixtures have been really good, and it kind of all culminates with this double game week they've got now. Leicester away, Chelsea at home isn't fantastic, hence why I haven't tipped a defender. But they do score a lot of goals, Fulham, and I think Bobby Reid is the last one that's probably still going to be free. Andreas Pereira is probably your best bet, but he's certainly picked in almost all competitive leagues. Willian is my next favourite, but I've tipped him 2 weeks in a row, so I couldn't really go back in there again. So Bobby Reid is the last man on that list. I think he's been playing pretty well. I thought he might be dropped for Harry Wilson, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen because they're playing well, they're winning games, they're scoring goals. So I think a Fulham mid this week is a really nice pick. Leicester away, Chelsea at home. It's not the easiest fixtures, but they're both kind of leaky defences, so you wouldn't be surprised to see Fulham score maybe 3 goals over these 2 games, which is a pretty decent return, to be honest. So I think one of the Fulham mids and Bobby Reid is just as good as any of them, really. Next up, I've obviously got to pick a Chelsea mid as well, and the one I'm going to go for is Christian Pulisic. Now, I'm not convinced he's going to start both games, but I think he'll start at least one of them, and I think the Fulham fixture is probably slightly more likely, which is the better fixture for Chelsea in this double anyway. So Pulisic is the one I am going to go for. It's tricky because the main options I think that are most likely to start both are Havertz, Sterling and Mount. Now, all 3 of them are probably picked. I think Havertz is free in actually a few leagues, maybe not after his goal last week, but I think he's actually a sneaky good pick at the moment. I think he's going to play the vast majority of games, and I think in this 4-3-3 it actually suits him quite well. So I think Havertz is a good pick. I think Pulisic, if they stick with a 4-3-3, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't start on the left. The only other real choice they have is Aubameyang, but I don't think that's really something Potter wants to do consistently. So I think Pulisic is actually probably first choice. And the fixtures are, as I said with Azpilicueta, the fixtures are good outside the double as well. Palace and Fulham at home in both 20 and 22 are decent fixtures as well. I think Pulisic is actually just a sneaky, pretty steady pick. We'll know more. If he doesn't play today, then there's probably less of a chance that he's going to be first choice, but we'll get another idea from the game against Forest today, and then we can assess from there. Last midfielder today is Sam Edozie of Saints again. Not often I'll be picking one Saints player, let alone 2, but as I said earlier, this is absolutely must win. Forest at home, it does not get any bigger than this for a team that are absolutely fighting for their lives to stay up. Edozie played pretty well against Fulham, and I think he's got a bit about him, and I think he's probably one of the most talented players in the squad. He's just not really had a chance to show it yet, but I think it wouldn't surprise me to see him break through and kind of nail himself as the most important sort of attacking midfielder in this team. He's definitely the one I think that's got the most potential. The rest of them are all kind of players that we know what they're about in the Premier League, really. But Edozie's a little bit more of an unknown quantity, and I do think he is a talented player, and I think he's probably someone that would probably get picked off if Saints did end up going down. But with these fixtures, I don't think it's a terrible idea to punt on one of these boys at the moment. Finally, then on to forwards. It's someone I've been waiting to put in one of these videos. It's the new boy from Leeds, Nonto. I'm going for Nonto with a silent G. I'm not sure if that's right, but we'll see. The fixtures for Leeds have been pretty tough since he's been in the side, actually. But he has kind of broken into the side. He played 45 minutes a couple of games in a row, and then he started the last 2, and he's really talented. I mean, this is a player you want to keep your eye on. But the fixtures have been tough, but they look pretty good now. West Ham at home in 19, whose form is atrocious. Then we've got Villa away, Brentford at home, Forest away. So 4 fantastic fixtures for a Leeds attacker. And I think this might be a period where we see Gnonto kind of come into his own in the Premier League. I think it looks like, to me, one of those picks that you'll pick him up and there'll be people in your league that are like, what? Who the hell is that? I've never heard of him. He's only got an assist so far, but it might be a Somerville-esque pick where in a few weeks' time people will be sitting up and noticing that he's scored 2 goals in this run of 4 games or something like that. So as a third forward, the fact that he's a forward as well makes him so much more valuable, because we know how bad the forward line is sometimes in draft. So I think someone that is just really worth a punt on. And it is a punt because, you know, he is kind of an unknown quantity, but I do think it's worth a punt if you've got kind of a dud third forward. Okay then everyone, they are my picks for game week 19. If you enjoyed, please do hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. If you want to support the channel, there's our Patreon down below. You can get access to our rankings. I do clean sheet odds and odds of teams to score 2 or more goals for each game week, stuff like that. So if you're interested in that sort of extra level of content, then hit the link down below. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you're new, and we will see you next time.